All right, thank you, Tanya, for meeting with me today. I know you're busy, so I'm really glad you did this. I'm getting a ton of feedback on your picture from your competition, and I'm getting compliments. I've even got a couple referrals off of it. And the reason why I actually wanted to interview you today is I wanted people to really know about how you got to where you got. It's a great story, but the first thing I want to start off with is how we met. So it's a cool story. So why don't you tell people actually how you came in contact with me and my company?
Sure, yeah. So it's kind of worlds kind of colliding. So I volunteer with a dog rescue, and I attended an event. A silent auction was part of the event, and you had donated a gift certificate for some training lessons or training sessions. So I was looking for a new trainer. Just moved to downtown Vancouver and looking for someone to hook up with. So I bid on the silent auction thing, and I won. And I contacted you, I think, a couple of weeks later, or maybe even a month later, to get in touch, and did our first in-person session, and kind of went from there.
You know what the funny thing about that too was is actually I remember when I had donated it, I would
Yeah.
go over like every 10 minutes to see if people had bid on it. And
Oh, were
like,
you actually at the event? I didn't even know that.
yeah, I was at the event
Oh,
because of my rescue dog is from there as well.
great. Yeah.
And I was like going over and checking. Nobody was bidding on my personal training sessions. And I'm like, oh man, like that'd be the worst if I got no buyers off of it. But it turned out to be really good because it was interesting. About 5 sessions in was when I think you asked me about the competition, or you brought it up. You took
Yeah, yeah.
interest in it. And it's funny because I didn't take you that serious at first. I don't think I even acknowledged. I was like, oh, that's cool. You want to do a
Every girl wants to
competition.
do one,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you brought it up to me, I think, two more times before our sessions were done.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wow, this girl's actually very serious about this, and she wanted to do it. So, the first thing that I had to do before we started was actually really look you in the eye and know that you were serious, because doing a competition isn't something you kind of half-ass do. You got to
Yeah.
really commit to it and be focused. So before you had come to me, were you pretty active in the gym already?
I was, yeah. I mean, I've kind of been active my whole life. I grew up competitive dancing, and then did different sports kind of in and around. And I, had some trainers in the past that, have worked out pretty well. Did different classes like boot camps and spin classes and all kinds of stuff. So I tend to get bored. So I wanted to, I kind of jump around a bit. So I was really looking for someone to like really focus my attention. I really loved working out in the gym, like lifting weights and all that. But I found that my routine was getting kind of boring. Looking for something new, and that's really where, yeah, you really came in and really helped kind of focus me and get going again.
And had you ever like transformed your body before, or was like, did you ever like done a fat loss diet, like a diet type thing?
I did about a 4 week kind of shred before a vacation once. So that was a very very strict meal plan. Lots of the workouts were tough and everything. Like it worked really well, but it wasn't sustainable for long term. I found, especially the meal plan, was quite restrictive. I was eating kind of the same thing every day. Boring. Yeah, it wasn't gonna work for the long term. It was fine for the short 4 weeks, but beyond that, yeah, it was gonna be tough.
And do you remember what your body fat was when you first came and saw me?
Yes, I was at 28%, which I couldn't believe, but like I never felt like I was never like unhappy with my body, or like really, thought I had a bunch of fat or a bunch of weight to lose. But yeah, I was surprised when you took my first, the pinchy thing, whatever that's called. And yeah, I was surprised what that number showed. So yeah.
Yeah, the calipers tell a lot. And it's interesting, even when we did the side-by-side pictures,
Mhm.
actually the comparisons, it actually didn't realize, like, your posture was a little worse in it, and
Yeah.
you couldn't really tell the difference when I first met you, and it wasn't until like we started actually transforming that we saw. I was
Yeah.
like, wow,
Yeah.
you actually
Looking back, yeah.
had a good base under what we already started. Now, when we started, what do you like about the plan? Like, because right off the bat, I kind of had set you up with a structure. Um,
Hmm.
and what did you find different about what you had done in the past to kind of what I had created for you?
Yeah, like I said, like the biggest thing was the meal plan, and I always, I'd heard about macro tracking and all that, but I never really knew what it was or how it, like knew what it was, but I didn't really know how it works, and I found it quite overwhelming. So I think that was the biggest thing, learning about macro tracking and really committing to tracking everything I'm putting in my body, and every day being consistent with that. So that was the big aha for me. And I think, the workouts were fantastic, obviously, and you really focused on those trouble areas, or the areas that were a bit weaker. I never liked working out my back, and that was definitely one of my weaker points. So getting in the gym with you and having you take me through the back workouts specifically was really helpful. And other upper body was always a challenge, but you definitely helped to focus my attention and get me excited about being in the gym again was the big thing.
So for the people watching, there are three aspects of my coaching that I focus on. I focus on the workouts, which I pride myself in giving really good workouts. I don't restrict your food choices, but I restrict your calorie intake, or determine how many calories you should be intaking, and we design a diet plan off of that. Yeah. And the third aspect is the mentality that goes behind it all. I want to start off with the workouts. So when you started off, and as you progressed, how were the intensity of the workouts? How did you find them?
Yeah, every workout I did, I found was very challenging, especially the one-on-one sessions with you. Like I left and I was sore for days afterwards. And I found as we progressed, as I got stronger, the workouts got more challenging. Like I said, I was sore pretty much every day. As I got closer to the competition, obviously my calories started to go down a bit more. So I found it was a little bit tougher to get those good pumps in the gym, but we kind of worked with that, and did more higher reps, lower weights, drop sets, those kind of things to really keep me challenged, as I felt was getting closer to show day.
And when was it that you actually first started seeing results from the workouts?
I think fairly early on. With the workouts combined with the diet plan, definitely saw results within the first couple weeks, a month. Kind of after that phase one, for sure. I started to notice changes, and then as we went further along, that's when I started. Other people started to notice changes.
How did it feel? How did it feel when you first started seeing those results?
Really good. Yeah, amazing. Like I would, get up in the morning and I feel a little lighter today, and like weigh myself, and that's really what kept me going, seeing that progress, and progress consistently over time. So that really kept the motivation up, for sure.
So it's kind of cool because without you even knowing, you were actually a guinea pig for my program that I was creating. I created the 3-phase graduated fat loss system.
Yeah.
And in the system, there are 3 phases. The first one is mindset. The second one is momentum. And the third is transformation. Mindset, we had to get you mentally prepared for the workouts and the diets. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when I had first given you calories, right off you were like, whoa, this is way too much. I don't know. Are you sure? I'm going, you were questioning it. You didn't know if you could do it. And we adjusted accordingly, depending. I didn't want to go too low because I knew, some people, if they drop too low, it wouldn't leave us anywhere to go later on. But we get you at a good level that you could mentally commit to it and keep going. Explain a little bit, though, how I kept you mentally focused on the plan and kept you on track.
Yeah, I think they kept in touch with me via text message and phone calls and all that, just to make sure I was keeping up with things. Using the FitnessPal app, I know you have access to seeing what I'm tracking, what I'm doing. So knowing that you could go in at any time and look to see what I'm eating that day, that just kind of kept me motivated, and like, oh, I know Ryan's gonna track my macros at the end of the day. I better make sure I hit those on track. So just having that accountability with you was really, really key to keeping me,
And when was it that you started seeing like momentum? When did you see the momentum pick up? Because you came in pretty mentally strong right off the bat. Like, I won't say this was a huge challenge. You knew what you wanted, and you came in ready. So you graduated the first phase of the program pretty quickly. And then when we moved on to the second phase, momentum, when did you really start seeing it? You know, when did it really click that you were like, whoa, now the weight's starting to come off?
Yeah, I think definitely like yeah during phase two, once I had really decided I'm going to do a competition, I have those things 12 weeks
And
to
keep in mind, we didn't decide to do a competition right out. Well, we said we were going to do one, but remember there was a few in date. We said let's see how we're going to do.
yeah
And then and I remember I think when the competition day we didn't choose that one. We chose one further on, and then once we saw how quickly you were able to kind of get into play there,
yeah
we chose
yeah
a regular date.
yeah honestly I was pretty much amazed like how fast the like everything just kind of the weight just kind of came off. It was really impressive like once I committed and really focused in, and like I said the nutrition, the meal plan or the meal tracking and the workouts all combined, and just staying 100% focused on it. I had events and things that I had to kind of navigate around, social life with my friends and family and all that. So, being able to commit mentally and, just not let things like that get in the way of my progress and my goal. I always I woke up every day just like knowing this is what I want to do. I'm 12 weeks away or 9 weeks away, whatever it was, and just totally driven towards that goal. And that meant making some sacrifices along the way, but it was worth it for sure.
Absolutely, it always is. In the last phase, in keeping to the workout portion, transformation, the last phase of the program, when did you notice about the workouts, how it really turned up, how they differentiated from like the rest of the phases?
Definitely. I mean, it got more challenging. I found myself, getting stronger as time had gone on, and you had, done different things to introduce new exercises, upping my weights, really, getting me to lift those heavy weights, which I tend to like the higher reps versus the higher weights. So
It was pretty cool that you were able to keep as much strength as you did with the calories
yeah,
being so low too. That was pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. I was impressed by that too. So yeah, just giving her hard every time in the gym, and you really focused me on those trouble areas, as I talked about with the the back and the core and those kind of things where I really need to focus in. So that brought my attention to those areas too, and really that mind muscle connection too. We talked a lot about where making sure I knowing what I'm working out, and I'm not just going through the motions, but actually doing it. And
So when we had started, I think our original game plan, because you only saw me one time a week in person, right?
yeah
And I
yeah
mean, let's be real here. That one time a week wasn't the defining factor to get you into shape. It was the plan and the program that you
yeah
stuck
totally.
to that
Yeah
really got you there. It was my workouts and kind of the guidance with the diet plan. And in fact, we had because you had pretty muscular legs when we had started, and we wanted to focus on your weaker points,
yeah
which was at that time it was your back and your shoulders, because we really wanted to pop that out on stage.
yeah
So I let you kind of take control of the leg workouts and stuff like that, and I wanted to have a handle on your upper body, and that way I could see where we needed the most work, and I can keep an eye on that as well. And for people that actually don't get to see me one-on-one,
hmm
progress pictures tell a lot. You know what I mean?
yeah
Those before pictures are really where we pick apart what needs work. We hit those extremely hard, and we build off your strengths already, but we really pinpoint your weaknesses and attack those.
yeah
So,
yeah
so tell people, what are your workouts like now? Now that you've kind of done the program and you're move forward, what are they like now?
Yeah. So I'm just about 3 weeks post show. So my calories are slowly going up. I'm in a bit of a reverse diet and a rebuilding phase. So I find I'm getting that strength back. Like had amazing workouts this week every time. So I find it was really enjoyable to getting the heavy weights out, and finding that strength that I was kind of lacking in the last couple of weeks as those calories got low. So it's been awesome. I was a little bit worried, finishing. My goal was really to get to this stage and have that experience. I always kind of in the back of my mind thinking, okay, what's next after that? I don't want to fall back into old habits. So I found like with your program too, it's so sustainable. I built these really healthy habits over the last few months. I've actually stuck with it since then. So I'm still doing my morning cardio, even though I don't have to, because I actually got into the habit of, going for a run at 5:30 because I want to now.
And
And
that's the biggest part about this, right? I mean, like, we want you to look and feel good, but we really want you to create a healthy lifestyle
yeah,
through all this.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes, your initial goal was to come in and lose some body fat and shape up your physique, but
Mhm.
through that, I really wanted to teach you how to create a lifestyle that would be sustainable long after the competition was gone.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know not everyone's, gone into competition. I don't, and that was kind of just my goal. And I've always kind of thought I wanted to do one, but whatever the goal is, whether it's a vacation or, whatever you want to do, it's just working towards whatever that is and committing to it. And just, once you reach that goal, then think about, okay, what's next after that. And that's kind of where that consistency and that ability to adhere to your plan long-term is going to really pay off.
Yeah, and it clearly shows. Now, moving on to the diet plan, we talked about your workouts to start off. Um, when you first started losing the body fat, what was the first problem that you encountered along the way? Because when you start any type of workout plan, diet plan, and any program in general, you'd be amazed at the amount of obstacles that come up. Now we're kind
Yeah.
of blessed with you. We didn't have a ton that came up because you're really mentally strong. But what was your first obstacle that kind of arose that you found?
Yeah. I remember the very first week, kind of after we decided that I was 12 weeks out, I think, from like approximate show day. I had my best friend came into town, wanted to go for wine and dinner on that Friday night. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll love to come. I never wanted to give up my social life or, say no to things just because I was on a diet. So I made sure that I, was able to kind of track as much as I could what I was eating that night at dinner. I sat there and drank water and soda water. All my friends drank wine, which was very unusual for me. And they gave me a bit of a hard time at first. They didn't really know what I was working towards. So they, once they learned, they were supportive, but it's a big, big shift. So that was the first one. I remember I was thinking to myself, I just want to get through this 1 week, 100% committed, 100% hit my macros and get through this 1 week and then kind of build up from there.
And was using MyFitnessPal, did you find it tough at first, or how would that go? Because
The app itself is super easy. I liked how convenient it was. I could, go on my phone at work or at home, wherever, and just put in things as I went. It's great because there's lots of, obviously lots of different foods on there that you can kind of pick from. The biggest thing I found was actually measuring my food and weighing my food, which to me before seemed so extreme and crazy. It was like, why would I actually sit there and weigh out my almonds? But that made a huge difference because then I can actually track accurately. Because if you're estimating the tablespoon of peanut butter, it's you think it's way more than it actually is.
yeah, it's crazy how much an actual tablespoon of peanut butter is.
That's like the best test to see, like, oh wow, yeah, it was. Then you see how quickly or how much you're actually maybe overeating.
And that can be the difference of like 200 calories sometimes.
Totally. Yeah.
A handful of nuts compared to 19 grams, which is usually on the back of the serving size, can be huge. And I think that's where main people go wrong, right? Is they think that like you said, weighing is obsessive and stuff, but until you actually understand the portion sizes, it's almost necessary for you to go through that method. And as you become more experienced, like you are probably now, and you've weighed out something a certain amount of time, then maybe you don't need to weigh it out anymore, right? You can kind of eyeball it, right?
Yeah, and that's again building those habits that are going to stay with me long term. And even my meal preps I do now, I'm still weighing and measuring just because it's become kind of second nature to me. And I just like, I'm kind of type A, so I like that control and that aspect of it all.
So you talked about the social events earlier and having to go out. Now, did I ever stop you from going to the social events?
No, absolutely. I remember actually in the beginning, you'd ask me, I think probably 2 or 3 weeks in seeing each other, you'd ask if I, what I did that weekend, and you're like, oh, do you have any drinks when you went out? And I was like, oh yeah, I had like a couple glasses of wine. And I remember you saying like, I don't, tell my clients not to drink. And some trainers will say, don't drink at all, or, don't do this, don't do this. And it's, for you, it's just, it's figuring out what's going to work for you. Yeah, you might have a glass of wine, but make sure you just track that as part of your fitness pal. Obviously, once I decided to do the competition, cut that out. But it was never about giving up my life. It was kind of making everything kind of fit with my lifestyle as I had before, but just obviously improving it and focusing more on fitness. For example, I mean, the morning runs, that was my choice to go for a run in the morning at 5:30. You just said kind of do your cardio whenever works for you, but I always got up anyway and took my dog out, so might as well, get her and kind of, go for a run with her and, get that in the morning. And that just seemed to work best with my schedule and my lifestyle.
And now, like, as I've had more clients kind of like to practice the program on, as I'm fine tuning it, it will always get better and better as I have more clients, and I'll find the holes as I grow it. But one thing now I start to do is I really get the clients to tell me in advance all the events that they have coming up. Because, those can be obstacles. All of a sudden something pops up that you didn't know. And they're like, oh, well, I had this event. And then you're like, well, you should have gave me a heads up. I could have helped you prepare a little bit better for it. Totally, not tell you what you need. And I mean, in the beginning stages, a glass of wine is not as bad. Even in the second phase is not that bad. But again, in the last transformation stage where you're trying to make those big changes after you've already been dieting for a bit, and we start to pick a piece of your diet and see what we can really fine tune. That's when we kind of had to regulate whether or not you should go for a glass of wine or not.
Totally. Yeah. I did have some events during the last couple of weeks. I think I had a wedding I went to, so that was, actually, because I was 2 weeks out from the show, it was very serious getting down to the wire. So I actually brought my prepped food with me to the wedding, had the caterer in the kitchen, and, sitting there while everyone's having their tacos and all this crazy delicious food. And my food was pretty delicious too, but sitting there at a wedding eating from Tupperware, I never thought I would be doing that, but that's how focused I was on the goal, and in the end
and I love that you say that too, because a lot of people might think that's crazy.
And I did too before.
But I mean, if you first of all, it's not forever. You know what I mean? You set a goal. Your whole life you've been doing what you wanted to do, and it's gotten you to that position. And then you come to me to reach a goal. Like you said, it was 12, 13 weeks that we really had to grind for. So, there was a finish line. So, to be, and in that instance, all you had to do was be a little more prepared. You know what I mean? You knew there was going to be stuff that you weren't going to be able to track and kind of be totally aware of how many calories were in it. So you thought, hey, the best option for me is to just be prepared and have yourself ready.
Totally.
So what were some of the biggest things you learned from the diet plan and allowing yourself to go through all that?
Like I said, I think the weighing and measuring and portion control was huge. I mean, when you actually get down, like I said, with measuring and weighing things, I realized that, how much I was actually overeating. And other big challenge for me was getting enough protein in the beginning. The only animal protein I eat is fish and seafood. So that was a bit of a challenge in the beginning, trying to make sure I hit that protein levels that you set for me. So that was challenging. But once I got there and I realized, how much more carbs I was actually eating than I needed to, and then the protein actually filled me up more. So I found I wasn't having to eat as much, or it felt more full. So that was really, really helpful.
That's huge what you just said there too. You only eat that type of protein, you know what I mean? You got to think about for people that have a wide variety of proteins, how much more easier it should be for you technically, So where are you now with your diet,
So I guess so 3 weeks post show. That weekend, so the show was on a Saturday. I had a couple days of freedom. I kind of ate like a bit of an asshole for a couple days. But then, actually the Sunday night, I was kind of thinking, okay, what am I going to eat this week? I got right back into it, did my meal prep, had all my lunches and everything prepared for when I go to work, get my breakfast and all that, weighed and measured and ready to go. So I've actually stuck with that since then. The calories are slowly going back up in that reverse diet. But I'm still weighing, still measuring. I do my meal prep every Sunday. So I'd put my lunches into Tupperware and my breakfast into Tupperware to take with me to work because I start quite early in the morning. And then I always make, extra protein and carbs to have that ready in the fridge when I get home in the evening. So just makes things so simple and easy. And there's really, if I know I have all this, food, what I'm going to eat, it's all ready to go. Then it's simple. It's a lot more difficult, or a lot easier to stay on track and not get distracted by different treats and other things.
Again, yeah, you've created a lifestyle around it. Now you know what you need to do, and you know what I mean. And the average person, I'll be honest with you, they don't have a huge amount of foods they will be eating. You know what I mean? People think it's a lot tougher than it is. Yeah. But I mean, even if you are eating out, you're not going to a new place every day. You know what I mean? You're not. The foods stay pretty simple. It's just about creating a lifestyle and being a little more conscious about being prepared, so you don't have to make bad choices, and being conscious about what you're putting in your body. So that's really cool that's now become a lifestyle, because that's the biggest thing about this.
And you feel the difference too when you're eating those proper foods and eating the good foods. Like I just feel way better. If I had that weekend where I went a little crazy, I felt pretty crappy in the end, and I was just like, okay, I'm ready to get back on track. And healthy food, it's like we put some spices on there, and it's actually quite enjoyable. I think my cooking skills have actually improved because I'm looking for different recipes and different ways to kind of spice things up and keep it interesting. It doesn't have to be just fish and beans.
And the cool thing about it was actually, and it's not going to happen with everybody, but again, Tanya came in extremely mentally focused. And there came a time when she asked me, like, part of my program, I give refeed meals, where we refeed your body a higher amount of calories. And Tanya had asked me, she's like, so am I going to get a cheat meal? Is that coming? And I was like, do you need one? Like, honestly? And she was like, no, I don't. I was just wondering if I get one. I was like, yeah, absolutely. You can have one if you need one. It didn't seem like you needed one at the time. But so we held off like a week or so, and we said, I actually know what it was. Is I said, did you have anything coming up that you would like to have this meal for? And you're like, actually, I do have. I forget what it was that came up. But I said, go indulge and go have something, and we regulated it. We didn't make you go crazy, but like you said before, you felt what it felt like to have that. And you, I think you jumped up a couple pounds from it, but water retention, exactly. And then you regulated it out by about Wednesday the next week, and you had actually started losing again fairly quickly. That's pretty cool. So the last aspect of the coaching that I helped you with was the mentality behind it all. And there were times that, you went off, focus wise, you had a focus on something else that maybe you shouldn't have. So we'll get into that later, but mentally, what tools did I give you that kind of helped you through this?
Just everything was so simple. You had laid it out for me where, it was just like, if I track my meals and I do the workouts and everything, like I would basically just follow what you said, and I saw the results happening. It just made it simple. And I think, like I said, just getting up in the morning and just being so focused on that goal and having that accountability to you, knowing that you're watching out for me, and it can go to you if I have questions or concerns, or there was some times where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to actually get ready. Like, I'm going to be stage lean enough, and I had some concerns early on, and you really got me back on track and really motivated me to just keep at her.
We didn't actually say, but what was your body fat on competition day?
8.3%, I think.
8.3%. So you're at 28%, and you went down to 8.3. That's pretty impressive. Not everybody can do that. Let's be honest. Like, I mean, you had somebody that came in extremely focused, and you like you just said, you followed everything that I laid out, step by step. And again, you don't get that every time either. You know what I mean? Some people, I said, hey, this week we're doing this. This week we're doing this, and you said, okay, coach, that's what I'm doing. And
trust you and trust the process. Yeah.
So I got to ask, why'd you trust me then? How come you trusted me to lay out this plan, and that it would work?
I think from our very first meeting, I just, felt your energy and your enthusiasm for what you do. And I think I really admired the passion you had for your career, for what you do to help people. And that was really inspiring. So that's kind of what got me hooked. And then as we went along, I just found you weren't just about telling me what to do, but actually teaching me and showing me why we're actually doing something. It's not just do this because I told you so. It's, do this because of this. The science behind what you were teaching me too. You send me articles and videos and be like, hey, this is actually what's out there. It's not just me making something up. So I think that was really, really helpful just to see it and actually learn. Like I learned so much about, like I said, the macro tracking, the nutrition. Show prep obviously was something else that got to learn a lot about. So yeah, I think just trusting your passion and your knowledge and everything.
So I think my next question was going to be, what you found your biggest challenges were through it all. But and one thing I want to touch on what you just said is, often with dieting, we have so many myths, you know what I mean? And there's so many things that you'd see on Instagram and you'd instantly question. You'd be like, well, why does this person do this? Why can't they eat that? You know what I mean? Why are they starving themselves or, whatever it was? Yeah. And it went back to the, I didn't want you to just take my word for it. I would send you articles from other professionals, accredited sources, and really show you that like this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. But just so that you understand that where I'm also learned this from, here's an article and whatever it was. I tried to show you other sources of people that I look up to and coaches that I kind of looked up to were preaching the same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get distracted, especially when you're on Instagram and you see all these different things like, fasted cardio and keto diets and all this stuff being thrown at you about the industry. So it's overwhelming, and you do like, oh, am I doing the right thing? But yeah, I think if you get down to it, if you just put your trust in someone, a professional like you, and just trust that they know what they're doing and just follow along. Like I said, it's quite simple if you just stick to what you say.
Yeah, exactly. And what are your goals now? What are you trying to achieve now?
So yeah, the reverse diets. Obviously, I'm still trying to stick to a pretty strict plan. Like I said, I've actually come to enjoy the plan. I'm going to Mexico in a few weeks, so I'm still trying to stay a little bit lean for that. But next, then I'm going to start, get those calories up, get those weights really heavy, and just rebuild. Really focusing on my legs and glutes again, get that booty back. And then
it's kind of funny too, though, is like now moving forward into the building phase, you're almost starting into phase one, the mindset. You know what I mean? Because the weights, you know what I mean? There's a whole different mentality in terms of building and kind of, rebuilding your body. You have to start from beginning, get your mindset ready, get the calorie surplus activated, and then start momentum again. And then you kind of transformation your body. And then once you get to the right area that you're at, you can start cutting again and see what you've built over the time.
Yeah, no, it's really been like a really cool process to see. You really have control over your body, and really you change it either way, either building or cutting or whatever. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think like the mindset you said, it's gonna be hard for me to build up those calories again and eat all the calories because I'm so used to
We're still working on the mindset, folks. You see this? He's still in phase one. You know what I mean? Tanya, I just want to thank you so much for believing in me and my program and just allowing yourself to commit 100% to it. I think that's the biggest thing is you can't stick one foot in. You have to dive in head first and just allow yourself to trust whoever you're with. Yeah. The last thing I'm going to ask you is, what do you want to tell anybody that's on the fence about committing to my program, the 3-phase fat loss program? If they're considering it and they watch this video, what's the last thing you'd want to tell them?
Just say, go for it. Give it a try. If you commit 100% to it, you're going to see results, and it's going to be worth it. There's going to be some challenges along the way for sure. Changing your lifestyle and changing your body is not easy for sure, but it can be quite simple. And just follow what Ryan tells you, and you'll 100% positive you're going to have great results.
Thank you, and remember, by hiring me as a coach, I mean, you could find out a lot of the information that you just heard today on the internet. You know, you can Google stuff, you can YouTube stuff. Um, but what you're getting, if she had done it on her own, you know, there'd be a lot of uncertainties, and a lot of mistakes that you would make along the way. When you hire a coach, especially, you know, going through my program, you're getting 12 years of everything I've learned, all the knowledge that I've gained in my career. And what I'm doing is making sure that you avoid making the same mistakes that I did. You know, we want to fast track you to where you want to be. All you got to do is follow the steps. You know, if you want to reduce the stress out of your life, if you want to feel better physically and mentally, I want to be the one to help you look good and feel good. It's not just about the looks. Again, it's about creating the lifestyle behind the physique that you're trying to build. So what I got to say to the people watching is, if this is something that you're actually interested in, if it's something that you're ready to commit to 100%, then what I want you to do is fill out the application on my website and fill it out in the best detail you can, okay? We're going to look at it. And if we think that you're a right fit, then we'll book a video call, and really decide if both of us are a right fit for each other, because it takes two to make this work. And it's not going to be easy. Tanya put in a lot of hard work to get where she was. And I had to put a lot of hard work into helping her get there. So if this is something you're interested, go fill out the application, and let's take the next step and see if this is the right program for you. Tanya, I want to thank you so much for coming out and you know, doing this interview. I think you educated a lot of people today, and
Awesome.
I think you can really help them in moving forward in their fitness journey as well.
Very cool. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, see you at our next workout, Tanya.
Tuesday.
Take care. Have a great night. Bye.